Hi. So I hope that you can hear me. I want to read something to you. I am at a Bessel van der Kolk workshop, and I accidentally ended up here on contemplative week, which means that nobody's talking, and I love it, and I can't wait to tell you why. And I hope that it can help you. So I want to read to you something that I wrote recently. First, to start off, what and how I'm going to say this. Jeffrey Dahmer put a lot of effort and time into rounding up unsuspecting victims with kindness and then killed and ate them. The time he put in was for him to ensure a devour, not because he loved the person of whom he invested his efforts to ensnare. Don't get that twisted. Sometimes nice isn't intended to be kind. Sometimes big displays of grand gestures in other people's lives that give those of us who don't have it a tinge of envy may mean that they will later pay for being a mere gesture in someone else's production when the lights go down. They may care to be loved more than on display, though the display hides their loneliness even from themselves as they're scolded to appreciate it. Sometimes acts of niceness that insist on being seen are only so the rest of the world doesn't see the truth behind the scene. A way of getting away with eating people in broad daylight while feeding them a feast. Others sitting around watching wish that they could eat. If only they knew the feast was laced with psychedelics and poison. They might not be so hungry, and the victim might catch wind that they're actually a human victim, not an ungrateful avatar. The stage isn't so clean behind the curtain. If you're only photographing the stage, the true production goes hidden from view. Witnesses saw Jeffrey Dahmer put in the work and the time. What they didn't see is everything he chose to do with it when they weren't looking. So I also went on to say how 2023 was like a slow torture chamber, opening my eyes as a person who always perceived myself as awake. It's just that some of the things that I'm realizing, is that a person? No, it's a leaf. Some of the things that I'm realizing about awakeness is that I was not allowed to be awake. Anything that I would see, I would be told that I didn't see, and anything I was awake to, it was it's literally easier to go back to sleep than tell the truth. So when you're not allowed to be yourself, because yourself will get mined, when everything that you want is literally taken from you. You can't tell your own family, if you come from a narcissistic family, the truth about what you want, because the truth is they'll take it from you, and you know that subconsciously, so you just stop wanting anything other than their happiness, because your happiness depends on their happiness, but they're never happy. So for me, my codependency starts in every time I feel, oh my God, I'm getting reprieve, even now. I'm here, I'm getting body work done, I'm getting energy work done, let me tell you what's really happening also behind the scenes of that, but I feel like the second that I'm here, I'm I have to give this to my family and everybody that I love. I shouldn't be the only one experiencing this kind of healing. And then I step out of presence because I feel like my happiness can only exist if I also make other people happy. Or my peace can only mean anything if I bring it and it's meaningful to somebody else, not just to myself. Maybe I've been doing that here right now, I'm not sure. But what I do want to say, and I'm not going to dose you with what I would bring to the situation if it wasn't, ironically, contemplative week here. So nobody's talking. And I just realized I'm sitting in hundreds of people are sitting around me. We're eating silently. There's no tension. I'm sitting in a sauna and there's people and there's no obligation to speak or to add value or to demonstrate your knowledge or to be anything at all. And this is exactly what I wanted. I've never actually wanted to fit in so bad in my entire life. In the sense that I came here and it was very weird because the second I got here, some guys, the guy at the desk was you look very familiar. Have you been here before? And I've been here before lots, but I know that I never saw him here. And then I was oh my God, did he see me from YouTube? And it's very interesting because the more I become seen, the more I realize how afraid I've been to be seen. When I am myself, and I feel on YouTube there is this disconnect between I would have a conversation with this myself in you and you in me and the person that can understand it and listen to this far easier than I can to the people that are actually around me and supposed to love me. So it's interesting that when you are systematically taught that it's unsafe to be yourself. The second somebody sees you for real as yourself, you feel terror. I just had this impulse on the way down here to bring this up. I don't know why. I don't know how it's relevant. Maybe it'll be relevant for you. But one of the most confusing clients I ever worked with in a psychiatric unit, she was diagnosed borderline. She was probably like 17. And she was talking to me so sincerely. And she said that her mom was basically a demon. Like, her mom was horrible. And then her mom walked in, and I said something like, oh no, like, you know, like validated, here she is, and like, that must be scary for you. And she just flipped like that. And she was like, how dare you speak about my mother like that, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, like I literally, and back then I was like practicing Rogerian therapy. So I just reflected to her literally verbatim what she said, and she freaked out that I said it. And I realized now her body was in sheer terror of the truth the second her mom walked in the room. And that's a bodily sensation more than a psychological concept. So it's very interesting here that like I'm coming here and I cannot add value. I cannot wrap my narrative and be like, my mom is so mean to me. I can't, there's nothing here that I have to demonstrate that would separate me from intimacy with the present moment, or that I could. And it's all a narrative, right? It's all like this trauma narrative. But when you are in that Jeffrey Dahmer type production and you don't know it, you just think, and this was me like a week ago, like, oh my God, I gotta end this. And normally this, you don't know what this is. It's like, you gotta end your life, basically, because that's the only thing you feel in control of. And that is a very caged child in there, feeling that way, but not believing it has any choices. So, I realize so much that the only way to end this, and what this is a dynamic. That if you're feeling that way, that girl didn't know. She was obviously had a narcissistic mother. She wanted to end this. She just didn't know what this was. And this is a relationship dynamic that is not normal or sane or healthy or happy or natural. It's very unnatural. It's very not human. And when you think this needs to end, but you don't know what this is, and then your only option is like, well, the only thing I'm in control of is my life. So let me just end my life. But this is a dynamic that you can end. But when you're in it, you don't understand. You just know something's wrong. Like, dude, this guy's about to eat me, but like, he's acting nice to me. So you don't really know what you're in until you're really going, oh my God, like, I need to end this. And this is just a really shitty relationship dynamic that you have the power to end. And it's not your life that will end. Your life will begin when you end it. It is the thing that needs to end is the stifling and nullifying and doling of self for the sake of somebody else, because you're not living then anyway. So of course you're like, this needs to end. Like, I need to either live or die, right? The only way it's going to end is if you end it. That relationship. You have choice. You have power. And what this is, I want to reiterate again, when you're in that way of, I need this to end. That's why I'm here. I was there. My mom did some crazy mean girl shit to me over my kids' birthdays. And my whole body, this is again, like this cutoff thing, is not based in psychology. My energy is very clear. I feel very confident in my choices. My programming, all of a sudden, is back to its default. And my body is at war trying to integrate both of those things, because I am resurfacing things that I thought that I had dealt with. So, I was really like, this has to end now. And then I was like, okay, I'm the only one who's going to end this. So I booked my stay here or whatever. So if you're sitting here going, this needs to end, you actually have the power to end it. You just haven't accessed that power yet. And what this is a shitty, unnatural, terrible, destructive, psychological warfare relationship dynamic that you don't even know that you're in. It makes you feel insane. And when you're on the other side of it, it's like, how does the whole world not see this? Like, I don't understand. So I just want to say that it's been very interesting to be here and that's the thing, is like, you say you want it to end, but I remember the first time I came here, I told every single person my story. And that's what you do, because it's consumptive. The stories of these relationship dynamics literally eat you alive. They suck your soul. They bleed you dry from the inside out. And you have to take them everywhere with you, because you don't even believe yourself. You're like, somebody just see this with me. Like, what's going on? And at this juncture, and I have clients who do this, they're like, I can't, they feel guilty that they go in social situations and all they can talk about is the shitty narrative that's going on in their life, like their shitty partnership or whatever. And it's easy to say, just don't talk about it with people. But when you put yourself in a silent retreat and you have no option to talk about it, you really realize what your energy wants to do. And there's like this thrashing or this reaching out or this like, oh, that person really saw me, and that's shocking, right? You can have the energy without the narrative. And it's interesting though, because we say like, I need this to end, I want this to stop. But then even when we go somewhere that's supposed to heal this, all we do is talk about it and bring it with us. So, and I know that that's because those relationship dynamics become internalized in us. And then we're at war with ourselves when we're supposed, like even happiness, like there's guilt and self-care for me still. I'm really getting over it. Guys, this is the thing. A huge thing for me has been guilt over wanting, guilt over receiving for sure. And this hit me super hard last week, and it hit a lot of my clients hard when I told them that my mantra lately has been, I forgive myself for getting what I want. I forgive, and even other people, I forgive you for getting what I want, or I forgive you for getting what you want. But mainly for me, it's I forgive myself for getting what I want, because it allows me to be receptive, where if I got what I wanted prior in my life, I would be punished for it. So now when I get it, I'm still like, oh, am I going to be like explosively in debt? Am I gonna is something bad gonna happen? There's this guilt that follows me receiving that I'm really working on, and I keep saying to myself, I forgive myself for getting what I want, because it's really when somebody who's supposed to be a provider for you and a protector for you, everything that you want, you can't get unless it comes directly from them, and then you have to pay for that. You just stop wanting anything, and then receiving is very, very hard. So I'm here. I forgive myself for getting what I want, that I walked into the cafeteria and didn't even realize that it was like contemplative week, so nobody was talking, and I was like, thank God, not one of these people is gonna know who I am, talk to me, I can't talk to them. And I love this. I love that I can just not wrap a narrative around my energy and be with the energy inside of my body, because my field energetically feels very clear. My programming is right now even silent, but there's a lot of energy wrapped up in this cutoff process with my mom that feels like the same, like the only way that I keep describing it is I feel like a baby that was dropped off on a doorstep, and there's thousands of people walking by and not one person's picking up the baby, and nobody's answering the door. That's how I feel energetically that's how my body feels. This is a biological thing for me right now. So that's what I'm tending to here. And I love just being able to take the language out of it in connection to other people and just feel the impulses of where the energy moves and how it wants to in relation to other people, in relation to my story, in relation to my trauma, in relation to my presence, in relation to my receiving. So I hope that you can have the same experience for yourself, and I hope that you can forgive yourself for getting what you want if you've been a person who has been talked out of wanting anything because you were told you got too much anyway and you were an inconvenience, right? Classic scapegoat narcissist shit going on here. So, all right, I hope you guys are good. Happy New Year. It's so good to see you. You want to see the lake? I might do a cold plunge later. In there. Oh my God. All right, bye.